there. I'm Scotty. You're not. So let's talk about Bebe's kids. You know, you try not to say it like that, and that's what it comes up. Bebe's kids. So Bebe's Kids was a 1992 film based upon the stand-up of one Robin Harris, who passed away 2 years prior, but they still went ahead with the movie. Yes, and the movie stars a fictionalized version of Harris, voiced by Faison Love, who is meets a woman who he sets up a date with to go with her and her son to a place called Funland, only to find out she has to babysit Bebe's kids. 3 troublemaking kids who cause all the havoc in Fun World, and he's just trying to get his Mac on. You know, he's trying to hook up with this woman, and yeah. So, alright, so a little bit of history with me in this movie. I watched this when I was a kid. And, you know, I think I watched it again when I was older, like teenager to young adult age, maybe. But I watched it since. I have this on Vudu. It was one of those things, I got a deal. You buy a movie, you get 2 or 3 free movies, I think it was, or something like that, on Vudu. They're all from the 90s. It's like this, Beavis and Butthead, Do America, and Cool World. I think were the 3 that I got. But yeah. And speaking of Cool World, stay tuned. Yeah. So it actually starts out with the stand-up of Robin Harris, which is what he had already passed away when this movie came out. But it's footage telling the story. Basically his story is that he asked this woman out to a date, and she shows up with 4 kids. 3 of them are which are Bebe's kids, like the worst kids around, I guess. I'm sure they if this was a real thing, his stand-up story ends the same way the movie does. And I don't think I think that's something embellished for the stand-up and the movie. We'll get to it, but yeah. So our story starts in mid-res as Robin is at a bar which has a blind bartender. Now, let's look at this here scene, the bar scene, right? Let's go back to a day in 1992 when cartoons could have drinking and smoking in them and no one would bat an eye. We'll call them the good old days. And this, I guess you could say this is for kids. I think it's PG, but I guess you could say it's kids. I think it says PG. Hold on, there's a rating thing here. What's it say? PG-13. Did not know that. I didn't look at the thing when I pressed play. Well, I know. So, Harris is telling the blind bartender, I feel like that would prohibit you from doing your work. And yes, he's there to have the joke where he tries to pour something into a bottle, into in a cup, glass, and it instead pours right next to it, or he pours too much. How can he even get a bartender's license if he's blind? I don't know. And he starts to tell the story about Bebe's kids, and it starts at a funeral. Interesting place to start the story, but anyway. He's at a funeral with his friends. This guy they didn't like named Walter. And everyone's there just to celebrate that he's dead, I guess. And that's where he meets Let Jamaica. So apparently this is the first movie with an all-black cast. Okay, this is the first one to do it, I guess. But I was thrown off a little bit by some of the dialogue because I myself, I don't know if you can tell this, but I'm not African American. I'm a white guy. So some of the and I'm not I'm not new to African American movies or TV shows. I've seen Friday. I've watched Sanford and Son and the Jeffersons, and so I've seen all African American shows and movies before. But I don't know, just something threw me off at first, and I got used to it. But when they're talking at playing poker or dominoes or whatever they're trying to play. It acts like poker, but they look like dominoes, so I don't know. But that's when he meets Jamaica and offers to take her home, but then he doesn't have his car with him, I guess. We find out later he can drive, so she gives him a ride home. And they hit it off. They go to pick up her kid, her son, Leon. And so, apparently, having made a good first impression with this woman, he asked her on a date and said, hey, you can take the kid to Funland. So they agree. And the next morning when he shows up, she's got 3 other kids with her. They're Bebe's kids. There is Khalil, LaShawn, which is the girl, and Pee Wee, voiced by Tone Loc, who you may know as the guy from Surf Ninjas, or Blank Check, or that lizard thing from Ferngully. Gully. He was everywhere in the 90s, apparently. He had that voice kind of like this, and he kind of talked real deep like, yeah, that guy. You heard his voice, you know who I'm talking about. But, okay, so, let's talk about the character of Robin here, because there are complaints. People say he's unlikable. But you gotta put yourself in his shoes here, okay? Especially as a man. He agreed to take this woman and her one child to Funland. Now, he's shown up and there are 3 more kids. 3 more kids involved. And of course, he's not going to want anything to do with them because that's not why he agreed to. But he's going to do it because he wants to be with his woman, right? So, he's going to do it. But he doesn't have to like it, right? And yes, he spends the entire film bashing these kids. And if you watch the goddamn movie, you know where that's going to lead to. You just have to keep watching. Don't judge, right? Don't judge. So, we get to Fun World, and right away I have an issue. So I know what this, they probably did this on purpose, but, like, so, as they're driving there, like, it apparently takes a long time to get there, and Robin falls asleep at the wheel, so the kids fall asleep too, like, Pee-wee is, there's a running gag with Pee-wee that he keeps pooping his diapers, and which is confusing because later on in one of his raps, yes, he raps, he's talking about how he's 3 years old. If he's 3 years old, how is he still in diapers? I mean, anyway, I don't know, but they almost crash, and as soon as they get there, there's a cop there. And he's like, get out of the vehicle, please. First of all, you're in a goddamn parking lot. You can't pull someone over in a parking lot. Like, this is... You're parking. I don't know. And then they get in there, and then immediately, after that, you're black and I'm gonna stop you joke. Immediately you have 3 security guards, one of which is voiced by Louis Anderson, judging these kids. Now, later we do see there are other kids held back, but when the first time we see these 3 security guards hassle kids, or 3 black kids, what are we supposed to think? And before they even done anything, they're like, you're troublemakers. And I'm like, racist. That's racist. You cannot walk up to 4 black kids and go, you're troublemakers. That's racist. Especially since it's the first kids we see them do that to. And I get that's probably the point. But it's shit like that made me stop watching Black Lightning. Because there was too much of it. Now, thankfully, that is really kind of the last of it because the security guards don't show up till later in the film. Now, I have an issue. Because as soon as they get there, Robin takes off with Jamaica, and the kids just run around. That's not how that works. You're there to spend time together, but they're like, okay, kids, you go do whatever you want, and that's not how that works. When you go to an amusement park, you're there as a family. You're there together. You don't separate. That's not how it works. Especially since there's that whole long line of lists of what kids can and cannot do, but more can't do, or not allowed to do. Why? I don't know. It's weird that it just allowed to run around. I mean, I guess for the script it has to, because they have to cause trouble, breaking stuff. And by the way, I did get a laugh out of this, but it is sort of a two-way street here. So the kids show up in this house of glass and they break some stuff, and Robin goes in and grabs the kids, and the lady behind the counter is like, you're gonna need to pay for what your kids did in here. And he just kind of looks at her and walks away. And that's the last we hear of it. And I'm just like, it's kind of funny because he doesn't care. But then again, I don't know. We also see that somehow, some way, for some reason, his ex-wife and her friend are there. Because of course they are. Why would they go to Phone World? Which, okay, so you've already showed us this is miles away. Right? So already, what is the word I'm searching for? Already, the realism of them being there doesn't really make any sense to me. Like, it doesn't work. But they're there. Because of course they are. And if you watch the movie, you know why they're there. And it made me roll my eyes. Because it's like, oh, we need some conflict. So let's just do this. Okay, so eventually, after they go through the tunnel of love and they follow them, they follow the 2 ladies, the ex-wife and her friend, follow Jamaica into the bathroom and proceed to make Robin look in a bad light. First of all, they start talking. She's like, oh, my boyfriend, Robin. And immediately Jamaica gets mad. And I'm like, well, first of all, they didn't give a last name. She just said boyfriend Robin. And let I remind you, you are miles away from where you live. Are we just supposed to believe that she would automatically jump to that conclusion? And then it says, oh, he's bad at kids and he beats me, smack, smack. And so Jamaica leaves and she's angry at him. And Robin, he could fix this, but then he tries to lie to her and she gets mad. Then he explains it to her. It's his ex-wife and stuff. And then he realizes something else is going on. And he goes and tells them what to do with, we have some yo mama jokes, with my favorite being, your mama's so stupid, said it was chilly outside, she went and grabbed a bowl. So I laughed at that one. The other one, what's the one that she does? Your mama's so fat. It's also him. Your mama's so fat. Your mama's so fat. She's on both sides of the family. Your mama's so fat. She's on both sides of the family. But yeah. Meanwhile, the kids break more stuff, and eventually we get into what the hell is going on moment. So they get taken by people to this funland thing, and they get out and they run off, right? A bunch of other kids too, and the security guys find them and they put them in this tunnel thing, and they free themselves because one of the kids has a knife, because of course they do, and all the other kids are freed, and they run off, and security guards start chasing these other kids while they run off, and then they run off into this area where there are robotic things. One looks like the Terminator, because it was 1992, the year after Terminator came out, so of course. And then there's a robotic, I kid you not, it becomes a trial where robotic Nixon is going against a robotic Lincoln to prove the Bebe's kids are evil. Oh, and there's rapping in this too. Like when the kids want the Bebe's kids to introduce themselves, they do the rap. And here, Leon raps. And, yeah. Then eventually, and it's not really resolved because they defend themselves. He does the rap. And then all the robots dance with him and then they leave. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. Well, then we get to the end of the movie. Right? Yeah. So eventually, Bebe's kids are chased around. They leave. Robin has had enough. And so he's going to leave without the kids. When he and Jamaica get to the car, Robin, the kids are there. Now, was he going to leave without Leon? Because I don't know. So he takes them home, and we find out they live in an low-income housing. There's roaches. Excuse me. No food in the fridge. By the way, there's a box of cereal in the fridge. Who puts cereal in the fridge? Well, it's empty, so I don't know. So he gives them $10 for pizza. That's not going to pay for pizza. Maybe back then, maybe. I don't know. But now, definitely not. And then Pee-wee says, they don't deliver down here in this neighborhood. And I was like, no, they have to deliver in every neighborhood. I'm sorry, that's not how it works. You can't just say, no, we don't deliver there. They have to deliver to you. It's their job. But of course, this is a movie. So he leaves and he finishes his story. And he realizes he done wrong. And so he's going to go back and get the kids. And what would have been the appropriate way to end it, with him going back to the kids, instead he opens the door and Jamaica's right there. And they kiss. And then the kids are already there. And apparently this is the same night. So he dropped Jamaica off. And Jamaica got her car, went and got the kids, and then showed up at the bar. She knew he was at the bar. My head hurts trying to think of this. I broke it. I broke my brain. I broke it. Ow. Un momento. I'm sorry, it's the first time this happened. I broke my head. I broke my brain. Where the was I? Yeah, so inexplicably, when he goes to leave, Jamaica's already there. They kiss, and she happens to have brought the kids with her. But how the hell did she know where he was? Oh, doesn't matter, because they all get in the car, they're gonna drive off. By the way, isn't it her car that they're driving in? I am not. There he goes again. Where's his car? Where's her car? Where? We need to try to bring common sense into this. So, PBS, where we going now, Pop? Let's go to Las Vegas. No, I ain't taking you to Las Vegas. I ain't taking that. So they go to Las Vegas. Yeah, it ends with Pee Wee unplugging the power cord and all of Las Vegas powering down. Let me tell you something. All the power in Las Vegas is not attached to one goddamn cord. Okay? That's not how that works. That's how the movie ends. Because that's how the stand-up ended. Yeah, I think that's embellishing. Despite the fact that my head is hurting, I'm gonna give it a middle of the road because it is a fun watch, but that ending really, oof. When I really have to think about it for a review, it gets confusing, breaks my brain, my head hurt. Oh, so what are your thoughts on Bebe's Keys? Let me know in the comments. Let me sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. I need an aspirin. I'll see you in the next one.